Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a Tuesday morning. I am recording. I'm going to spritz these watercolors real quick so that they're nice and juicy later on. Make sure that they are moist. That way I can just tap them with my brush instead of scrubbing them with my brush later on. Today, it is Tuesday, 5:30 in the morning. That means it is time for another random object out of the randomogrifier. But first, we need to address something very quickly. It is our 100th consecutive day of live casting the random objects from the randomogrifier, the sketch and copy show. So thank you all for joining me. I see Ivy's in the chat. Thank you all for joining me. This is an exciting day. It's a momentous occasion. And today, our toy from the toy box, our random object from the randomogrifier, is a carrot. You would think, oh, it's the 100th day. Let's do something exciting. Well, the carrots kind of look excited. I don't know, but it wouldn't really be a random object if I picked something. But here we are. So we got a bunch of carrots for the 100th, for our special 100th day anniversary show. A bunch of carrots. Yay! Woot! Oh, goodness gracious. So I'm going to block these in real quick. We're going to do just a little bit of composition here because we want to make sure the whole carrot fits on the stream. Like I think I pointed this out the other day. I think my little girl saw these when she pulled them out of the box and said, you know what, this is a Tuesday drawing. He's only got a limited time on a Tuesday, so we'll just set these aside for Tuesdays. So I think that's how I ended up with carrots on our 100th show. She said, I love it. Ivy says, I love it. Let's dance. Ivy's up there in the freezing cold. She says it's 60 degrees where she is. I think that's Ohio. The composition went really quick. That is the beauty of this particular bunch of carrots is how quickly we can just jump right into the details phase, because it's it's all pretty straightforward. It's just a bunch of triangles, right? It's just a bunch of triangles. And so we'll get these details done rather quickly, and then we'll get to move on into the ink and watercolor phase. But not only is today the 100th consecutive day of our little show here, but we're also running out of book. Dad says that I stole his hat because of a hat that I'm wearing. My dad. I will tell jokes around the house, and my daughter will be shocked at some of the things that I say, and she'll say things like, you know, I'm telling your mom, I'm like, where do you think I get it? Where do you think my sense of humor came from? You think I was just made in a vacuum? My dad wants his hat back. I have a box full of them. If you want one, I'll give you a hat. I'm not going to put every little detail on these carrots. We're going to focus mainly on the essence of carrot. Hopefully by the time it's over you can tell that it was these carrots that I drew. That's the goal. carrots are one of those things that, you know, we domesticated carrots some 5,000 years ago. We started. There's evidence that we started collecting carrots about 5,000 years ago, but we didn't really domesticate carrots. We didn't start really growing carrots until about 3,000 years ago. And the carrots that we domesticated are not anything like the carrots we have today. The carrots that we domesticated were bitter little yellow and purple gnarly roots that were more for medicinal value. They thought that they were good for digestion, and there's some merit to that. They're easy on digestion because they're fibrous. They've got a lot of fiber, so they lend themselves very well to aiding with digestion because of that. But hi Claudia. Hi Claudia. Claudia made it in time for our 100th show. She missed the hat a while ago. I'm assuming she missed the hat. Claudia. I'm assuming she missed the hat. But it's okay. We'll show the hat later again. But it's interesting to me. Carrots are like, to me, I have no idea how somebody looks at a gnarly, bitter, distasteful. You couldn't even see them because they're underground, right? So, at first they probably would have tried to eat the greens, and those aren't flavorful. But there is a thinking that some people have a slight allergy to carrots, where the carrots cause a buzzing sensation in their mouth. And there is a thinking that the original carrots probably had a stronger impact in that arena. And so if you're a shaman looking for things that make it look like you're solving problems, something that makes your mouth buzz would certainly make the people think that you had big magic. And we like to attribute that kind of stuff to the old shamans, but it kind of still holds true to modern day medicine, doesn't it? And in the 50s, they told the kids that castor oil worked because it tasted bad. We were told in the 70s and 80s that the bad taste of Listerine was proof that it was working. So imagine 4,000 years ago, I can imagine some 4,000 years ago, some shaman telling his chieftain, this is good for your digestion. This will make, you can tell it's working because it makes your teeth buzz. I can see that. Yeah, Claudia, we missed you on your birthday the other day. Claudia's in the chat room. She's in the Netherlands. She comes and sees us at lunch. And I appreciate your nice tribute that you put on your page about me. And you too, Ivy, I appreciate the nice tribute that you said about me. But we missed you on your birthday the other day. We were all prepared to sing to you too. Alright. I think my pen's running out of ink. Hi, Elizabeth. It's almost a full house. Elizabeth. It's a real party now. We got a global party going on now. Woot! So the carrots 5,000 years ago were little bitter, gnarly, wadded up purple or yellow things. The purple ones come from Afghanistan. The yellow ones come from the Persian area, Iran. can trace that. You can trace their trade routes by color. The purple ones were Afghanistan. The yellow ones were Iran. The white ones were mostly in Europe. In Europe, and there were some red ones in India that I want to try from having read about them. There's some red ones from India that are supposed to be really sweet. I'd like to try those. But it wasn't until the 16 or 1700s that they took on their orange color, and that is 100% man-made. That was, they believe, let me preface that with, they believe, it is believed that the Dutch did it in honor of the royal family, L'Orange. But orange carrots were not a thing until the 16th and 17th century. The long tapered look is something that was bred on purpose because it made them easier to pull out of the ground. But it's not their natural shape. We have a tendency to discard their natural shape. If they look at all gnarly, we have a tendency to throw them away. And that, in and of itself, sparked a billion-dollar industry. Because there was this farmer in California that got really tired of throwing away 80% of his crop every year. So he took his carrots and he ran them through the green bean machine, and it cut them up into little pieces and skinned them. And then there's another machine that kind of buffs them off, buffs the ends off and rounds the ends off. And he marketed them as baby carrots. And people loved it. People absolutely loved it. People just literally ate it up. To the point that 70% of the carrots consumed globally, it's estimated, are baby carrots, because they're easy to eat, they're easy to package, they're easy to ship, they're easy to store. But it is estimated that 70% of the carrots consumed are baby carrots. And that's saying something, because there's 2.8 billion pounds of carrots just in the U.S. 2.8 billion pounds of carrots consumed annually just in the U.S. And 70% of that is baby carrots. So that's really saying something. When you have a shadow like this, you want to have, on a rounded shadow like this, you want to have a darker shadow. The white carrots were mostly in Europe. I don't know about Redditch. I don't know what the Redditch ones are. No, I didn't read about that, but I know that the white carrots were mostly in Europe, and at first they were mostly just for livestock, but they would stew them and make soups to cure digestive problems. That much I did read about. But if you have more information, we're all here for it. This is what we're down for. But when you have rounded shapes like this, you have to have core shadows, and you have to have form shadows. That's what makes it look round. And then there's contact shadows. And those often fan out into regular shadows. All right, I think we're good on shadows. I think that's probably pretty good on shadows. Bugs Bunny in the 40s comes out doing a little Clark Gable imitation. What was it? It Happened One Night? Was that the movie with Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert? And there's a scene where they're hitchhiking, and they're leaning up against a fence post, and he's eating a carrot, and he's smacking on his carrot while he's talking to her. And that is where Bugs Bunny got his carrot addiction. The way he would eat carrots like they were cigars. And it's an interesting phenomenon of timing, because this is the process that cemented carrots into our American diets, and I'm pretty sure the British diets as well, the European diets as well, because at the same time we had developed radar. Now stick with me, because this one I love this story. We had developed radar, and all of a sudden the British pilots were very, very good at seeing targets at night, and they were very, very good at seeing incoming planes from the Germans. And the spies were all kinds of curious about how that could happen, and the British released the propaganda that they had been feeding their pilots extra carrots to give them better eyesight, better night vision. And all of the Axis and all of the Allies started eating carrots to perpetuate the myth, and the Axis started eating carrots because they believed the myth. The public were given posters about the myth. The carrot farmers perpetuated the myth. And then along comes Bugs Bunny, smacking carrots, making smacking carrots cool. Along comes Clark Gable, smacking carrots, making smacking carrots cool. And now you have American teens trying to look cool like Clark Gable, and American kids trying to be cool like Bugs Bunny. And you've got carrot sales through the roof, all because of timing. Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers had absolutely nothing to do with the World War II lie, the World War II story. And Clark Gable had no idea when they were filming that movie. They had no idea about the lie, but the timing was perfect. Let me dry this real quick. It's done. Claudia says, have you ever seen a rabbit with glasses? Well, there you are. Another little interesting fact about carrots. I got that red light snow blindness going on from the air dryer. I can't see anything but a big red spot. I'm seeing spots. Maybe I should eat carrots. Mel Blanc, the actor that voiced Bugs Bunny and many other Warner Brothers cartoons, was allergic to carrots. He had the allergy that 17% of people in the world have. Carrots there's a low level allergy that causes a buzzing sensation in your mouth, and then there's the more serious allergy that can send you into anaphylactic shock, and he was somewhere in between. Carrots made him very ill, but the sound engineers could not find any way to imitate the sound of a carrot being chomped. And so Mel Blanc would keep a trash can next to his microphone, and he would snap into a carrot, say his line while smacking, and then as soon as he was done, he would spit it out. Which brings back to the other point, that buzzing that Mel Blanc experienced is probably what made the shaman believe that it had strong medicinal value. And they used it for digestion, they used it for contraception, they used it to regulate menstruation. And I don't know how well it worked for menstruation, but there's some evidence to support that it did. There's still research going on that today. But the diuretic, because they're chock full of water, they have diuretic properties. The digestive, because they're basically just fiber sticks. That was a pretty obvious one. And people like to say that they went for virility and contraception because of their shape, but you have to remember they weren't in this shape when they were discovered. When they were discovered, they were just gnarly roots. That this is a modern adaptation. This is something that didn't come about until about 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. But the time we're talking about is 5,000 to 3,000 years ago when they first started collecting it, but they didn't start farming it until about 3,000 years ago, 1,000 BC. So anyway, these are koi watercolors. Claudia's in the chat asking me what brand of paint. I have a brand new set over here. These are koi watercolors. It's a little travel set that I picked up at the hobby shop. I think I got this at Michael's here in the U.S. I'm pretty sure Dick Blick carries it, but it's just it's made by Koi. It's a nice little travel set. Comes with a little brush and a thumb loop on the bottom. I love this kit. I've used this kit. You can tell this kit is well loved. I've refilled this 3 times. And I always refill it with the same Koi watercolors because I found tubes of the same colors, and so those I like them because they're bright, but they're good pigment, but they're also just a little bit muted, so they don't overpower whatever you're doing. You can adjust them. I could have gone with more yellow and got a brighter orange out of that, but this particular palette is more of a cool palette, and I like that. So that's a good question. Thank you so much for asking. But anyway, here is, let's stop the camera rotation. Here is my version of the carrots. And then let's stop this recording up here. Let me turn this microphone off, because as long as once it's disconnected, I can't tell if it's off. I'm going to eject the camera. Move this up out of the way because it casts a shadow. And then get you a picture from my perspective. I need to turn that timer off. Alright, so there's the... Wait, no, that's not what we were doing. We're getting a picture of the carrots. Alright, so there's a picture of the carrots from my perspective. So alright, so let's see what the little girl has pulled. She's already pulled an egg. It was sitting here. I'm not sure what's happened to it. I may have shoved it off out of the way. Is it this one? Or is this? Yeah, it was this one. Let's see what we have here. So let's see here. We have, it's a dinosaur. What kind of dinosaur is it? It says that it is a velociraptor from Safari. So that is what we're going to be doing Wednesday, July 9th. So if you're watching this Wednesday morning, July 9th, and it's before 5:30 in the morning, you're watching the trailer, and this is what we're fitting to do. So stick around. We're going to start this. But for the rest of us, we're going to party down. I'm sorry, my mom said something. For the rest of us, we're going to party down because it is time to go, and we're celebrating because it's our 100th consecutive show of the sketch and coffee show. So thank you so much for joining me. You know, I look forward to it every day. I jump up out of bed and I run down here so I can have some accountability to my art practice with my besties, with my art besties. Thank you guys for showing up, and I'm going to dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that's how we know the lag has caught up with the stream and we won't